Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, as-salatu was-salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Welcome everybody from around the world. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, and this is the BAK Show, where we discuss things that are important to you. Of course, we are dealing with topics and issues pertaining to the Muslim lands and such. Of course, I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are broadcasting live. We're happy to have everybody, and we're happy to be here. Brothers and sisters, the entire Middle East is seems like it's going to be ready to burst into flames, but we're going to talk about all of that in just a minute. Now, before we do, I want to go and bring something to everybody's attention. Now, listen up, everybody. Just give me a second here because we need to talk. We are working on a project, and it's called Voices of Truth. And I'm showing our crowdfunding page. It's right there on your screens now. What is Voices of Truth? Voices of Truth is a project wherein we are documenting the atrocities that were committed by the Assad regime. We're doing interviews, conducting interviews with people who were oppressed by the regime, family members who had their loved ones incarcerated and they never returned, those who were prisoners who were under torture. We're going to be doing all of these things so that we can bring the stories to you, so that those stories would live as an archive and remain for many years to come. Because what we don't want is for maybe after 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, all of a sudden people would be saying, hey, you know, Bashar al-Assad was really a good guy and he really helped out the Palestinians, which he didn't. He didn't fire a shot. He didn't fire a missile. He didn't even point an angry dog in the direction of the Israelis. And that is the truth. Okay. So please visit our crowdfunding page. That's medina.com/voices of truth. I am heading this project, spearheading it, and we need your help. Please do contribute. If it's $5, $10, $100, we're really talking business. It doesn't matter. And if you can't do any of that, then your du'as would be sufficient, inshallah ta'ala. So once again, that's medina.com/voices of truth. All right, everybody. Okay, let's get started here. We're going to be going through your questions, your comments, and your concerns. We want you to send them in, and we're going to get with them. But first, we want to talk about the situation here in Syria. Let me just let you take a look at the map that is here and an explanation that I provided. Take a look and we'll talk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem for OGN Maps. Today, we're going to discuss the situation from a geographical standpoint happening here in Syria so that you understand who's where, what they're doing, and why. Let's get started. This yellow area is all under PKK-aligned militia forces. We're talking about PKK, SDF, YPG. A lot of people don't understand how vast their territory actually is. Now, they've made an agreement with this new Syrian government headed by Ahmed al-Shara, formerly known as Abu Muhammad Jolani, that the barriers are going to come down and there's going to be a coming together of these territories. We're going to be watching for that. Now, let's take a look at here in Damascus. Now, Damascus is here. This area that you're seeing right here, this area right here is the Quneitra region, and it's controlled not by the Syrian government, but it's controlled by Israeli forces sent by Tel Aviv. Why is this important? Because in this area, you've got Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is the highest peak in the area. We're talking about 2,800 meters above sea level or 9,300 feet. Now, this is important because that enables the Israeli forces to be able to spy into Damascus, into Lebanon, and into northern Israeli territory. But also, let's talk about here, the southern area of Daraa. Daraa is right on the borders of Israel. Now, this is important because Tel Aviv has made it clear that they don't want any Syrian government troops on their borders, period. None of these areas do they want to see any Syrian government troops, but yet they're sending their troops into these territories, sometimes a full 20 kilometers inside of Syrian territory, almost to the point of the city of Newa. Now, they're sending troops, which is a clear provocation, but they don't want any Syrian government troops to be there to repel them. We're going to be following this up. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. All right, brothers and sisters, that's the explanation in terms of what's taking place here in Syria right now. Now, as we discussed in the map report, when you're at the southern part of the country that's on the border of Israel, they're demanding that there are no Syrian government troops to be on those border areas. But yet they're sending their forces into these areas. It's a provocation. I believe that Tel Aviv is trying their best to bring about a reaction from the new government, or they're going to just come in and take over territory. This is what I'm seeing, because they are purposely provoking and taking provocative measures. As we reported before, 9 local fighters were killed trying to stop Israelis from coming in and out of Syrian territory. They come in, they cause havoc, they steal livestock, or they set up checkpoints. They will come in and raid houses and arrest people at will, and then make their way back across the border. It's been going on since the fall of Damascus. Now, we've got to understand something here. The new Syrian government, even the old government of Bashar al-Assad, never fired a shot against the Israelis, and yet they continue to come into these territories and to take over territory in the Mount Hermon region. That's the highest point. So it can spy into Lebanon, it can spy into Syria, and also it can see northern Israel. So I got to be honest with you. I think that we're looking at troubled times ahead, because it's very clear that the Israelis are trying to spark a new conflict. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got here. All right, first of all, we've got Camarad who's here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Bilal, you're looking handsome as every day. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Actually, you can't see her, but my wife is here also. So I'm not sure if she shares your opinion. You share their opinion? Okay, she says she does share your opinion, but how would you know exactly whether I'm telling you the actual thing of what she said? All right. Okay, let's take a look and see what Ansar 95 said. Assalamu alaikum, brother. It was getting boring. Finally, you're back. All right, I'm in the house, man. And we're going to be coming at you several times a week now. Okay, we've got Ikram Onjirak, if I'm saying that properly. Assalamu alaikum. Well, why do you dodge my question about Turkey? I'm sorry, I didn't see your question about Turkey. Why don't you acknowledge our inputs, our war against the whole world? Tell me, what do you think of Hakan Fidan? Hakan Fidan is the foreign minister of Turkey in the Erdogan government. Formerly, he was the head of intelligence in Turkey. So he's not an unknown entity. My opinion of him, well, I mean, he serves the Turkish government and he serves Turkish interests. So it's not strange that he's doing what he feels is best for Ankara. I mean, we really have to look at these things realistically. We would love to look at these things and say, hey, man, we're all Muslims and we're all pulling in the same direction, and we want everybody to do the Muslim thing, and the Muslims are all going to be with the Muslims. All right, that sounds good. I like the way that sounds, and we'd like for it to be that way, but that's not the way that it is. So as I mentioned, Hakan Fidan, he works as the foreign minister for Turkey. And if there are foreign interests that are in line with Turkish interests, then he's going to be keen to want to engage in that. And that's what's happening here in in Syria. The new Syrian government is very much in line with Turkish interests. Turkey backed the rebel forces for many years. So, the new government headed by Ahmed Shara, formerly known as Abu Muhammad Jolani, is very familiar to Hakan Fidan, and therefore they're working together. So my opinion of him is that he's an employee of the Turkish government. He's working from that dynamic, and he's not a part of, like we would say, a larger collective of Muslim governments all pulling in the same direction. So I think maybe the expectations of what Hakan Fidan should or should be tempered with those ideas in mind, and Allah knows best. Alrighty. Ansar 95. We need more content from you. Yes, and we're on it. Could you make a video with Abdul Samad Dagur? I actually have not seen Abdul Samad Dagur for about 5 years. Inshallah, I hear that he's okay. And I see some of his stuff from time to time. So he's still doing his thing. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay, all right. Ansar 95 says, could you show us the exact locations the Zionists advanced on the map? All right, let's take a look. All right, look. If you can see this, this area right here, this is southern Syria. Right here in purple is the area that the Israelis have taken over. That's right. That's right on the border with Israel. This is the Quneitra region. Now, it's very, very significant. This area right here has Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is a mountain which is the highest peak in the entire region. It gives the Israeli surveillance equipment the ability to spy into Syria, Lebanon, and northern Israel. In case there's any type of attack that may be imminent or something like that, they would know about it. That's not only limited just to the possibilities of attack, it's also possible that they can intercept communication and so on and so forth. So this is very, very strategic. And in another reason, the Mount Hermon area has many snow-capped mountains. Those snow-capped mountains actually, the water melts and it flows down and is a big supplier of the water that Israelis consume on a daily basis. So in taking this area right here, they have given themselves an opportunity to spy into the different areas. In addition to that, they have secured their water resources. So that's problematic. Let me just put this back on here. Okay, that's problematic. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Okay, we've got Maximed Jintucky who says, war with Israel was always inevitable. When Bashar was toppled, alhamdulillah, but a lot of people overlooked the destruction of Syria's missiles. It was clear that the US and Israel was preparing for war. I'm not 100% sure what you mean here when Bashar was toppled, alhamdulillah, but a lot of people overlooked the destruction of Syria's missiles. Well, the missiles that Syria had were used on the Syrians. They weren't used on the Israelis. So I hope I've understood your point here. But this is Syria's missiles were quite powerful in blowing up of the Syrians and other Muslims, not so powerful against the Israelis because they never fired a shot. Okay. Masroor Ahmed Khan says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Bilal. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is Jolani an agent of the USA in Israel? I can't say that Abu Muhammad Jolani is an agent of Israel or the United States of America. I have differences, big differences in terms of his adherence to the Quran and the Sunnah, I guess we could call it that. And I'm not going to talk about his style of governing, but people can have any kind of style of governing that they want as long as they adhere to the Quran and the Sunnah. So I have issues in that regard, but can I say with any degree of certainty that he's an agent of America and an agent of Israel? No, I can't say that. And I want to make sure that I'm clear that my mother used to say, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." All right, so if I have a problem with him in a certain thing, I don't want to now charge him with things that I don't know him to be a part of. He's my Muslim brother and all. We have a history of like actually not getting along, so we'll just have to leave it there. All right. All right, we've got here the paths of reason. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ty, for your video from France. Allahu Akbar. Good to have you here. Okay, it says here, Gurman 4444 says, Turks are very nationalistic, as you can see in the comment above. They're very nationalistic, yes. But as long as it's not to the exclusion of what's correct from the Quran and Sunnah, then it's okay. Everybody's got their stuff, but the Turks are a big part of this ummah, and we're hoping that that the cooperation between Syria and Turkey can grow, and the brothers in Damascus hold fast to the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, okay, IMA8 says, it's obvious Julani is an agent of the West. I don't think that that's good. I'm going to tell it to you. I think we have to be nuanced. First of all, as another Muslim, I don't like to call him Julani. That's just not something that one Muslim should be calling another Muslim, even if we see things from that Muslim that we don't particularly like. So yeah, I'm going to act as his defender now. No, I don't think that that's a good thing. I don't think that's something that Allah would be pleased with. So yeah, I would definitely tone that down. Okay, Maxim Jintaki is back, and he says, Turkey will always be NATO first, so they should be trusted as much as the Arab regimes, which is not at all. Okay, again, we're talking about nation states, so let's talk about trust. Is it required? Do you need to have absolute trust to work with somebody? I don't think so. I mean, I work with people all the time. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have full and absolute trust for them. Yeah, sure. I think that our directions may be going in the same way. So therefore, we work together on this or work together on that. But I may not tell them how much money I have in the bank account. I may not tell them how much money I have in my pocket. I may not tell them a lot of things. I might not even tell them where I live. But we could still work together. We could do some things together. Inshallah ta'ala, for the sake of Allah. That doesn't necessarily mean we have 100% trust. For example, the Houthis, I like what they're doing. They're doing something that everybody else is not doing. All of these countries in the Gulf who spent hundreds of billions of dollars on the highest tech equipment from the United States and so on and so forth, and they've done nothing to help the brothers and sisters in Palestine. Now, after having said that, because they were and are still backed by Iran, not as heavily as they used to be, I want to make this clear, they do have their own autonomy. They are backed by Iran, but they're not under Iran's control. It's like Hamas. Hamas was backed by Iran, but Hamas, a Sunni group, was not under the control of the Iranian regime. Okay, so after having said that, Turkey will always be NATO first, so they should be trusted as much as the Arab regimes, which is not at all. We have to understand something here. Everybody has their interests. We would love for this to become an ummah thing. At the moment, it's not. But right now, Turkish interests and Syrian interests are going in the same direction. So inshallah ta'ala, they could come together and do something good for the sake of Allah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's interests will always be going in the same direction. And even when it stops going in the same direction, it doesn't mean they become enemies. They just may not cooperate on certain things. And I'm just being honest with you here. Look, guys, we'd love to look at this thing as a one ummah thing. We'd love to. But there are all these nation states. Some of them are crooked, clear agents of the West, and they be looking for an opportunity to run and stick up somebody's behind for a Washington or Downing Street. And Allah knows best. Okay. All right. Now, we've got a thing here. Could you tell us how life is in Syria? Would like to know how much money one needs to live a normal life in Idlib. Okay, I'm going to answer this question, but I'm also going to answer another question that came along to add something to this. First thing is I would like to talk about somebody saying, should I come to live in Syria or not? I've said previously that it depends on who you are and what your goals are. I'm going to tell it to you straight. Syria right now is a good place to come if you're looking to help develop a Muslim country. If you're coming looking for a ready-made situation, you're not going to find it. You're going to get frustrated and you're going to leave and you're going to talk about us. That's the reality. But if you're coming with an idea that it's not perfect, it's not remotely perfect, but I've got a skill set and I'm willing to work with the brothers to see if we can do something good for the sake of Allah. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to trust the government, but there's a lot of people, and millions of people here who could use your help. Maybe you work in the medical field, maybe you work as an engineer, maybe you work as somebody who can bring in aid or something along those lines. There's a lot of stuff that you can do because the people need everything. You might be a da'i. I can't think of any profession that's needed more than a da'i. So that's the first thing. So if you're coming here and you've got the developer's mentality, come on, because the water's fine. But also keep in mind, those pesky Israelis are 25 kilometers away from Damascus. If they try to push forward, then fighting will erupt. I don't know how that fits into your calculus, but Allah knows best. Now, as for how much it costs to live in Idlib, I suppose you could get a decent apartment for $125, $150. I suppose. I don't live in Idlib, but I think that you could get something for that amount. Probably, depending on, if you have 2.5 kids, another $300 would have you sitting pretty food-wise, electricity and stuff like that. So we're talking about $350, $400, and you're sitting pretty. All right. How big would the Syrian army be? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Okay, we've got Bach Precision. Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Karim, good to see you, and it's good to see you too, Akhi. Unrelated, but any news about Al-Shabaab inching close to Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, and the Somali government panicking? I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of information about that. And all, I'm basically just seeing some reports. And if you were to ask me that on our next broadcast, I could probably elaborate more, because we do have good brothers and sisters that are in Somalia, and we can get some firsthand information for you. Okay, we've got Hazem Abu Muhammad, who says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Bilal, kayfa hal? Hali Jaid, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I'm glad that you are here. Okay, here we've got, what do you think about the call to jihad from the Pakistani Mufti and the response of Egypt and other Muslim majority countries? First of all, my response to the call to jihad is this. Dude, where you been? That should have been made, before October the 7th, 2023. But it wasn't. and it was made in 2025. They're here now, walhamdulillah. That's the first thing. So I applaud it big time. That's the first thing. Second thing, of course, you've got a lot of these other Muslim majority countries who are basically saying, no, that's not a good idea. There's no hikmah, there's no reason in that, everything. Tell them to sit down and shut up. The reality of the situation is that our brothers and sisters are dying by the truckload daily, and it continues. How in the world could you possibly reconcile that you have an army that's touted as one of the biggest in the Middle East sitting on the borders and you watch? I'm not even going to talk about your brothers and sisters. I'm talking about you just watch humans be starved and bombed and you did nothing. I don't see how you could do that. I don't see how Abdul Fattah Sisi's wife is like, I could, if she was my daughter, his wife was my daughter, I would tell him, look, you tell that cat when he gets serious, he can come pick you up. You come on back home. That's what I tell her to do. I digress. So, especially other countries like the United Arab Emirates, they are colluding with the Israelis. They're for them. The Saudis are just hoping that this whole thing blows over so they can get back to negotiating the three-way deal that they were doing before October 7th, 2023, between themselves, Israel, and the United States of America. That's what they're interested in. All of this is just a damn inconvenience. That's the way the Saudis are playing it. And anybody that doesn't like that, dude, you've got all of these billions of dollars of weapons there. We ain't seen them. Why are we not seeing these advanced planes that you were bombing poor Yemenis with and flying over the skies of Palestine? Oh, wait a minute. You've got all of this tough stuff going on when you're bombing other Muslims, but when it comes to the Israelis, it's like, no, there's no military solution to what's going on here. That's basically what you've got from them, and Allah knows best. All right. All right, let's take a look. We've got here, how feasible is it that the new Syrian government develop missile capabilities similar to Ansar Allah? Also, I know this is unlikely, but perhaps they should consider an alliance out of necessity. They should. I don't work for the Syrian government, but we understand from the Quran and Sunnah وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, to help one another in righteousness and piety. And it's very, very clear that the Ansar Allah, also known as the Houthis, are very serious about inflicting harm on the Jewish state of Israel, so as to alleviate the suffering of the brothers and sisters in the Palestinian territories. So, I agree with you. They should work together. But then again, they didn't ask for my opinion. I just gave it. Okay, the paths of reason. Why is Israel attacking this new regime when at the time it was treating people from this rebel opposition of Nusra in their hospitals in Israel? There are plenty of articles about it, but not plenty of dalil or proof about it. You see a picture of a guy with a beard being treated in a hospital, and that's it. That's it. That's all you see. I've seen those images and all. It's just like just a few images. I don't know who that cat is that's being treated. I can't even tell you that hospital is in Israel. I can't confirm any of that. Maybe you can. And if you can, please do direct message me because I'd love to see the proofs of it. But you have to understand that just because different people kind of piggyback and jump on other people's bandwagons who start up a conversation and everything. Look at this picture and all. Oh, look, they're colluding with the Israelis. It was totally outside of the Israeli sphere of interest to ally with rebel forces, particularly Islamic elements. That's just not real. And Allah knows best. All righty, let's see. Okay, now this is saying IMA8 is saying Israel is trying to provoke Syria so they can have an excuse to invade and seize more Syrian land. Yeah, I do think that, but also if they don't get the excuse that they're looking for, I think they're going to come and they're going to do it anyway. I mean, I'm just being real with you, and Allah knows best. All right. We've got here. Thank you, brother. I follow you for more than 10 years. I love your work. Yes, we are all employees. We never claim to be the king of the ummah. We always wear and are the servants, and we will rise again. Yes, we will, brother. And inshallah, we'll do it together. And we ask Allah to make that a reality. Ameen. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Let's see. Okay, Sinful Goy says, I was recently in Syria. What a pollution in Damascus. I don't like big cities. In spite of the fact that I lived in Brooklyn, I'm not from Brooklyn, I'm from a small city called Mount Vernon, but I don't like big cities. So I go to Damascus to do my thing and then I leave. So I don't like Damascus anyway, either. But it's not because of Damascus, it's just because I don't like big cities. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. We're going to take one more. Okay. Ansar 95 says, did you see any government forces when you were in southern Syria? And are the residents there getting ready for war with the Zionists? No, I did not see government troops in southern Syria when I went there. The government, the Israeli government, made it clear they did not want to see any government troops in those southern towns or on their border. They did not want to see that. And when I went there, I didn't see Syrian troops that were there from the government in Damascus. That didn't make me happy. And I don't think that that's the right thing to do. But I'm not going to be able to sit here and tell you, oh, well, that means that they're colluding together or so on and so forth. I can't tell you that. I can tell you what I saw, and I didn't see the government troops being there. And I think that that was definitely a wrong move. Are the residents there preparing for war? I think that there's enough of them that they realize the danger, and if needed, they could respond. Yeah, I definitely see that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Okay. All right, this is the last one and all. Abu Bakr, 1979, says, why are we calling them Zionists and not Jews? The rocks and trees will call out and say, there is a Zionist behind me. I'm confused. Please clarity. The rocks and trees will say there's a Jew behind me, not a Zionist. And every Zionist is not necessarily a Jew. For example, Joe Biden said very clearly, I am not a Jew, but I am a Zionist. So not every Zionist is a Jew. That's the reality of the situation. And Allah knows best. But before you go, brothers and sisters, please, I need your help. I need for you guys to take a look at our crowdfunding page. We are working on a major project here, wherein we're doing interviews, conducting interviews all around the country of people who were oppressed by Bashar al-Assad, bringing their stories for the first time so that people could see and experience and witness what they witnessed. We're talking about family members of detainees who disappeared, never returned. We're talking about those who were actually tortured by Assad in his prison, those who spent decades in Assad's prisons, women who were also in Assad's prisons. We want to make sure that this is documented so that future generations will be able to call upon our work as a resource to know what should and should not be taking place, and history will not be altered in the future, but we need your help. Visit our crowdfunding page at medina.com. Medina.com/voices of truth. I am heading this project. I need your help, brothers and sisters. Please don't let us down. Hook us up. Well, that's all for today, brothers and sisters. Jazakumullah khair. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.